Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, one of the other backflips in Master Universe Revolution was Teela being straight again. There was some very obvious gay baiting in the first season where they were setting up Ardra, or whatever her name is, and Teela as being a gay couple. And they totally abandoned that, ignored that, and made her heterosexual and in love with Adam, which really wasn't something that they even hinted at being possible in the first season, if I remember correctly. They were fond of each other, that was it. You could argue her tantrums over his betrayal of her could have had something to do with it, and the fact that now she knows he is sort of He-Man in a way could have something to do with it, but yeah, it was kind of obvious what they're doing, and turning her into the Green Goddess instead of just having the Green Goddess be her own character, I think was a mistake. Having a motherboard was an interesting creation, although she just got taken out and her head ended up being in a box. It was nice to see Meg Foster voice the character, but it really was just taking the place of Shadow Weaver in some ways, but then embracing the technology side of things. I don't know, I kind of feel like it was a bit of a copyright thing with Shadow Weaver, why they had the motherboard character, although obviously the techno cult was a different thing. I can't imagine Shadow Weaver would have naturally developed into a character going that direction, but I do kind of feel like they sort of filled that hole with her. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't just the lack of being gay, it was also just the lack of masculinity. All of a sudden, Teela, although she's still strong because she's basically an Amazon warrior, I think someone made the joke that all the girls stopped taking testosterone in the second season, and it looks like it. They actually look like strong women instead of men. So obviously this was a complaint that they responded to, and they do seem to have been responding to complaints to the show, and but then they still make mistakes like making Teela the Green Goddess. Now, why the Green Goddess just couldn't have been someone she went to get the power of the snakes from? Because maybe she had that and she could give it to her rather than becoming her, because then she just unbecomes her, and then the Green Goddess is just like, she just becomes this other being, which apparently is who she is in the CGI version, which I haven't seen. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's messy, there's backflips everywhere in the show, and it's hard to have any, to put any real faith or interest, in a show that just abandons everything it's already established and goes in another direction because, of fan criticism, which, if you're going to do something, have integrity and do it for a reason and do it properly. Don't just sort of do something because you think a lot of people will like it when a lot of people don't like it and just go in another direction. It's like there's no integrity there. It's just a mess. So yeah, I'm just sort of pondering some of these things and just sort of processing, what they did to this version of Eternia, and I'm just grateful that this is just a reboot. It's just part of the Masterverse. It's Master Universe has a multiverse. They call it the Masterverse. So it's that thing where nothing matters because, we'll just go to another universe. We'll just get a character from another multiverse and pull them into this multiverse. No one really dies. We've got a literal heaven and hell we can, just open a portal to. So yeah. I really don't know what they're going to do with the second half of the series, and if they're going to fix any of this, if they can fix any of this. If it's all scripted and done, they're just finishing the animation. I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of resolution to a lot of these problems because they're not smart enough to see them, and the criticism won't come until after they've seen the first half of the show, and it'll be too late to do anything to the second part of the show. They managed to make some changes to the second season after the first season, but I don't think we're going to have that sort of they're going to have that sort of freedom mid-season. But yeah, had they done these as separate seasons a whole year apart and had time to actually change and evolve the show with the fans, it might have been a much better approach, might have been better, but that's not what we got. So we just have to deal with what we got, accept it on one level, and just wait for the next, reboot, the next multiverse, which I guess will be a film. Or maybe the live action She-Ra series, maybe that'll actually happen. No one's been talking about that for a while. Did they lose the rights? I don't know. These are things that other YouTube channels are pondering and questioning, and at least there's something to talk about. At least there's something happening with He-Man at the moment other than Origins releases. But most of it's bad. So we've got stuff to talk about. It's mostly sort of deciding how bad this is and how much damage it does. And I'm just sort of waiting for, the next thing. And that's kind of sad because you can't really invest in any of the shows anymore. You're just sort of waiting for the next reboot to see what they do next, what they do with the IP next. There's really no investment in it anymore. No consequence. It's just I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Masterverse and where it's being taken and all the directions it's being taken and whether any of them are any good.